Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me this week for another video. So in this week's video, I wanted to talk about co-parenting with a narcissist or someone who is extremely difficult, someone who is just toxic and unhealthy, emotionally abusive, just a really hard person to work together with. So the first thing is you have to stop thinking that you're a team. So you have to accept that you're not really a team, you're not really co-parenting. What you're doing now is parallel parenting, which means each of you are parenting by yourselves essentially, and you come together on major decisions for your children. Now this rule, again, is only for people that are dealing with someone who you truly believe is narcissistic on some level or has full-blown NPD or is possibly extremely difficult to work with. So if you're dealing with this type of person, then this video is for you. If you're just wanting some co-parenting tips with a normal, healthy human being that is not emotionally abusive and not narcissistic, then this video is not for you. So when we accept that we're no longer in a team with this person co-parenting, we accept that even though this isn't what we wanted, it's not what we wanted to have happen, we have to start parallel parenting in order for you to keep your sanity, because this person is not mature, they're not responsible, they're not going to do the right thing that's in the best interest of your child, they're not going to be respectful of you and your time and your boundaries, they're just going to take and try to manipulate you and say the most hurtful things to you and still be as abusive as they were in your relationship. And in order for you to keep your sanity, so you can be the best parent that you can be and to move on with your life, because the fact of the matter is you're no longer in a relationship with this person. So you owe this person absolutely nothing. You don't have to stand there and take their abuse anymore. You don't have to listen to all of their manipulation and all of the shame and the guilt and the projection and the gaslighting and all of these things that they're trying to do to you. You have educated yourself and you're fully aware of who this person is, and now you're taking control over your life. So when we accept that now we have to parallel parent with this person, we have to really let go of a lot of control. When you can let go of that need to control everything, you'll actually feel, first of all, a lot of release and a lot of freedom, because you can't try to control everything in life. It's just not even possible. And you'll accept that even though my child might be seeing things or doing things that I wouldn't like for them, that as long as they're safe, that's number one. And number two, any damage that's being done, any bad behaviors or things that's being said in front of the child that you think is unhealthy, as long as you have a great relationship with that child and you keep that communication open, that child will always come back to the stable parent and tell that parent everything that goes on in their life. And that's your opportunity to have control over the situation and to show them right from wrong. You know, that mommy shouldn't have done that or daddy shouldn't have done that, and this is what he or she should have done. And by parallel parenting, we also really accept that when we engage with this person, with this narcissist, it's like getting water from a rock. You know you're not going to get through to this person because they don't want to hear you. They don't see you. All their agenda is to disagree with you at every turn. So if you turn and say that the sky is blue, they're going to immediately come back with, no, I think the sky is purple. They just want to be difficult. They just want to disagree just to disagree with you. And when you're fighting that, it's a losing battle, because you're trying to teach someone how to be a parent, and you can never teach anyone how to be a parent. You can't teach someone how to grow up and be a mature, responsible person. You can't teach them what's healthy versus what's unhealthy, because they're narcissists. They have a personality disorder. So there are wounds and stuff within themselves that they can't even deal with and acknowledge, and that's why they are the way they are. So the next thing is you have to work on yourself. Now, if you're coming out of this relationship and you're either separated or you're newly divorced, you have a long road ahead of you. You are just coming out of an abusive relationship. And regardless if there's children involved, you should always take the time to begin rebuilding yourself. That means remembering who you are. That means regaining your self-worth and your self-confidence after being with this person who basically tried to destroy you and diminish any amount of confidence or love that you had within yourself. Someone that constantly gaslighted you and manipulated you and, made you feel guilty for the decisions that you were making in life. all of these abusive things, that projected all of their stuff onto you. And if you've had either months of this or years of this, you're going to be struggling. You're going to have to, start from ground zero and work your way up again. You're going to have to focus on yourself and learn how to love yourself again, because this person really tried to take you out. And if you're coming out of this relationship, you are exhausted. You're emotionally drained, physically, mentally. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. By any means, I'm not saying that this is easy, but it is 1,000% necessary, because if you do not do this work on yourself, all of the abuse and all of the things that you're going to have to do co-parenting with this person is going to be extremely difficult. So just because you're not in a relationship any longer with this person doesn't mean that they're going to stop bullying you, that they're going to stop being manipulative. And when you say, no, we can't switch days, and they give you a ton of backlash and they say the most hurtful things to you, or they do the most hurtful things, and they just are just nasty, nasty human beings, and they try to basically make you feel guilty for being a bad parent because your decision is no or your answer is no. All of this stuff that you're going to face, if you don't regain your strength, it's going to destroy you. You're going to lose it. You're going to go crazy. You're going to get stressed. You're going to get angry. You're going to get frustrated, bitter, whatever it is. So if you don't do this work, all of that abuse that you're still going to have to take from time to time or deal with from time to time, because this person in some way, shape, or form is going to be in your life for the rest of your life, then it's not going to be a fun ride. So not only is this important to help you to keep your sanity with this person and rebuild yourself for your future as well, but this also allows you to be the healthy parent. So if you can't do it for yourself, if you're so exhausted and emotionally drained from coming out of this relationship, you have to work on yourself, love yourself, rebuild yourself to show your children that, this person didn't break me, and this is what I had to go through in life, and this is the abuse that they put me through. Not that we're going to verbally have this conversation with our children right now, but over time, your children will know what happened in your relationship. They just will. Even if you never say anything, which in my opinion is not healthy as well, but at some point in time when they're grown adults and you have this conversation of, look, this is what happened and this is what mom or dad had to go through, and they're going to see, wow, look what mom had to go through. Look what dad had to go through. And he overcame it and mom overcame it. And this is how they rebuild their life. And they're so much healthier than this other parent is. This is the stuff that you want. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it to be the healthiest parent that you can be for your children. So the next thing is you have to be businesslike. There is no emotion in business. Business is business. And when you work on yourself, like in that last tip, when you have really started working on yourself, you're regaining your self-confidence and your self-worth, you're not doubting yourself anymore, you know that you're a healthy, amazing human being, and when you have that amount of love within yourself, this next part is really, really easy to do, because you've accepted that you're not in a relationship with this person anymore. You're not entangled in this abuse any longer with this human being, and there's no need for emotion. There's no need to get angry, especially with someone who has a personality disorder, especially someone who is extremely unhealthy and toxic. It's almost like getting mad at a toddler for throwing a temper tantrum. You're not going to get mad at a 4-year-old for reacting the way that they did. You're not going to get emotional and entangled up in that mess with them because you're an adult and they're a child. It's really the same thing with someone like this. Also remember, this person feeds off of attention, whether it's positive or negative. So if you're giving them negative attention, if you're overreacting and you're getting entangled in this mess with them, they're feeding off of that. It's just like a bully. They basically want to see that they got to you. They want to see that they can get a rise out of you. So the more you can approach them either in person or in an email or text message with absolutely no emotion, that there's no need to get angry. There's no need to react. There's no need to get over emotional about anything. That no matter what they do or say to you, and they're gonna do hurtful things and they're gonna say abusive things, that you can just create that bubble and there's no emotion, even if it's killing you inside. As long as you can hold on to yourself and not let that person see that, and just react to them as you would someone that you're doing business with or at work in the office, then that over time, that'll show the person, okay, I can't get a rise out of this person anymore, and they'll leave you alone. Now, believe me when I tell you, going no emotion and being all business-like and not letting anything affect you, regardless of how much you've worked on yourself, it's hard. It is a hard thing to do because this person, I don't want to say is not human, but I struggle at times to think that this is a human being that has feelings because the things that they can do, the things that they can say are so beyond what a normal person, I won't even say healthy person, just even a normal person would do or say, that it can honestly take your breath away sometimes. And you can just be left there being like, how could you even go there? How could you even think it, let alone say it? It's one of those situations. So as much as you can love yourself, if you're getting abuse after abuse, if you're getting text messages and emails and interactions with this person where they're just saying the most hurtful things to you constantly, time after time, that's hard to do. I mean, even the strongest person is going to just feel depleted at times. So this is not an easy thing to do, and it is a practice, and it's a constant practice because, like I said, this person is going to be in your life in some way, shape, or form. So you might have a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years where this person is perfectly somewhat normal and has just kind of left you alone. And whenever they feel like they want to, maybe they're just bored one day and they want to see if they can get a rise out of you, or if they're just having a bad day, they're going to say something or they're going to do something. And you have to know, where do I even begin with this? So if you know that you can't have an interaction with this person and have absolutely no emotion with them, that they can still get to you in some way, shape, or form, then you don't speak to them at drop-off and pick-up. You don't speak to them hardly. You say quick, brief things in front of the child, and then you disengage from the person in a healthy way. Maybe you only communicate with this person over email and over text, which I highly recommend. If you're only communicating with this person over email or text, that means that regardless of what they're saying to you on this email or text, that you're able to look at the entire email and just kind of dissect it. And what you want to do is just answer the questions. So this big long email that they're drafting and all the hurtful things that they're saying, you want to just skim through it and find what are the questions that I need to be answering, and everything else, you just don't even acknowledge it. So we now have learned and accepted that we don't begin drafting emails on what we need to say to really get back at this person to hurt them, or trying to prove our points so much and over explaining ourselves on why we're making the decisions that we're making. We're just extremely quick and brief, just like in work. In work, we don't go into this long email with a coworker as to why we're making certain decisions and, why I feel this way and why you should not feel that way and why I am a good parent, and, trying to make this person see that we're a great parent and the reasons why we're doing some of the things that we're doing are in the best interest of the child. That person doesn't care. And to be honest, all that is wasting your time and your energy, because again, it's like trying to get water from a rock. It's like talking to that wall and trying to get that wall to talk back and say, you know what? I thought about it, and that actually is really true. That is what's in the best interest of the child. That's not going to happen. So the next thing is you have to go off of your agreement, your divorce agreement. So hopefully you've gone through the divorce process, you have a parenting plan in place, and even if you don't always like some of the things that are in it, it is what it is. This is the agreement, and that's what you have to base your parenting time and relationship with this person off of. And the reason why I say you have to go off of your agreement is because you're not dealing with someone who is respectful of your time and your boundaries, and you're not dealing with someone who is mature and flexible. You're dealing with someone who is extremely childlike. So this means that you're dealing with someone who is selfish and controlling and wants what they want, when they want it, how they want it. And if they don't get that, you're going to get backlash. So if you try being flexible with this person, like, okay, we can switch days here, and okay, you have to go do something. Okay, well, we can move this around for you. It's like any abusive person. If you give an inch, they're going to take a mile. So if you start doing that in the beginning, and then all of a sudden you say, you know what, I can't switch with you. That doesn't really work for me. You're going to get backlash. You're going to get abuse. You're going to get all of this drama and all of this childlike behavior from this person because they're not getting their way anymore. So if you just constantly go off the agreement from the very beginning and you say, this is the agreement and we're not switching it, and it goes even for yourself as well. So this means that if this is the agreement and this is the times that you have your children and you want to switch a day because there's something going on or something you need to do, you need to make other arrangements. You need to not do that thing. Believe me when I tell you, this will really, really keep your sanity, because you can't cooperate. You can't be flexible. You can't work together. You can't help each other out. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It just doesn't work with someone who's narcissistic, because a narcissist is just a taker. So you're always going to feel like you're being more flexible and more easygoing with the schedule or things, regarding parenting your child than they are. And you're going to hit a point where you're going to say, you know what? I feel like I'm being taken advantage of now, and now I don't want to do this anymore. And then that's when you're going to go off of the agreement, and then you're still going to get backlash because you were doing it before and now you don't want to do it at all. So they're going to tell you that you're being a selfish parent, that you're not doing what's best for the child, that it's all about you and you need to work on your issues, and oh my goodness, you're so angry. You're going to get all of this coming from this person, when the fact of the matter is the reason why you're at this place is because of the abusive things that this person is doing, that this narcissist is doing. But they're not going to acknowledge that. They're not going to say, you know what, you're absolutely right. Every time you ask for something, I don't do it, and I'm not there for you to help you out. But every time I ask for something, you always give me what I want. You know what, you're so right, and I need to change my ways. That is never going to happen. So the quicker that you can just kind of separate the two of you, and like I said, you're parallel parenting at this point, then that'll actually be so much better for not only yourself, but also for your child, because a lot of that, you being flexible and they're not, and then an argument starts and then an email battle happens, that's not good stuff for your child. They don't need to feel that energy or that negativity. So as long as you can separate the two of you and live your own lives, that is what is in the best interest of your children. So the last thing is, and this is something that I know a lot of parents struggle with that are coming out of divorce, is you don't want to feel sorry for your children. While all of us enter into marriage and when we conceive children, we have this hope that we're going to have a happy family, a healthy family, that we're going to stay together. And when I hear parents that are staying together for the children, it breaks my heart, because if you're not happy in your marriage and your relationship, if you're with someone who's narcissistic or emotionally abusive or whatever, you're just not in a good relationship, that is not what is in the best interest of your children. And while divorce is not something that we want to do for ourselves and for our children, it is what is best, because you don't want to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't respect you, that doesn't love you, that isn't faithful to you. You don't want to show your children that type of behavior is acceptable and okay and healthy. And even though we can't get rid of this person because they're your child's parent, we can teach our children what is healthy behavior and what is unhealthy behavior. This does not mean that we badmouth our ex-spouse. This does not mean that we, have confrontations with them in front of our children. But I do think that it's a great opportunity to teach your children right from wrong. And I know at times when we have this guilt for getting divorced and we want to pretend like their other parent is a great dad or a great mom, and we make excuses for behavior, or we don't really allow our children to feel upset because mom or dad let them down. One of the biggest things that you have to do throughout this process is you have to be there for your children. And this is a hard thing to face. This is a hard thing to deal with as the other parent, because you don't ever want to see your child feel disappointed or hurt at all, especially by their other parent. And then of course you have the feeling like, great, I chose this person and now this person is hurting my child. All of those things are terrible things to have to deal with. But you have to sit there and you have to validate what your child is feeling. So if your child's upset because mom does this or dad does this and they disappointed the child, or this is what they said to the child, you have to allow them the space to feel those feelings. and just, you know, just be there for them and give them a hug and then teach them the lesson. You know, I'm sorry that mom or dad did this. That was absolutely not okay. This is what they should have done. You didn't deserve that. It's not about you. It's about them. All of these things are things that you need to constantly be communicating with your children. So I hope that that has really helped you guys really to learn how, again, to keep your sanity while you're going through this process. It is not an easy thing to go through, especially when you're dealing with someone who's narcissistic and extremely difficult. So again, I hope that this has helped you. If you guys are interested in one-on-one coaching, I will link that down below. Please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next week.